So today's lesson is going to be lesson 1, tape diagrams and expressions. And the first thing that we want to do is just identify how tape diagrams can demonstrate mathematical expressions. So for instance, over here I've got a 5 next to a 3, and over here I've got 3 5s next to each other. So when I'm looking at this, we need to make sure that we understand that this represents over here, that this is going to represent 5 plus 3 is equal to 8. So this represents 5 plus 3 is equal to 8. And over here, this would be, I've got 5 3 times, which would be equal to 15. And so this expression could be the model of 5 times 3 is equal to 15. Now this I'm confident we have a good awareness of, but what happens when we want to change these into an algebraic statement or expression? And in order to do that, we have to use what's called a variable. And a variable is just an unknown number. Now in mathematics, when we don't know a number, we put a letter in for it. For instance, if I wanted to say a number plus 3, I could say x plus 3. And it doesn't have to be x, it could be any letter that I want. So it could be, I could also say m plus 3 could represent a number plus 3, or z plus 3. The letter doesn't have to be an x or a y. So going back to the statements, if I were to give you this model, let's see here. Let's do this over here will represent 4, and this will represent some number x. And I'm going to tell you that this is going to be equivalent to 12. And I'll do another one where we have I'm going to have x and x and x and x. So I'm going to have a number and a number and a number and a number. And when I look at what the total of that number is, I will get 12 as well. Now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you some expressions, and I want you to try to match them up. All right, so go ahead and take just a second if you're watching the video for the first time and see if you can match up the tape diagram with the expression. All right, so let's see what we got here. I'm going to call this A and I'm going to call this B just for the sake of, that way I can just label my numbers. Okay, so we've got 4 plus x. So that means I'm going to be combining 4 and some unknown number to give me 12. Well, that to me looks like A. I've got 12 divided by 4 is x. Well, here I'm starting off with 12, and then I'm going to divide it into 4 equal sections, and one of those sections will be x, so I'm going to call this B. I've got 4 times x is equal to 12. I think that's once again B, because I've got x 4 times, so we'll call that B. I've got 12 is equal to 4 plus x. So I've got 12, and that's going to be equal to, when I take 4 and I add it to x, so this is going to be A. I've got 12 minus x is equal to 4. So here I would be starting off with this entire length is going to be 12, and then I'm going to subtract off, where am I at? Subtract off x. So I'm going to take off x, and if I do that, I'll end up with 4. So this one's going to be A. Then I have 12 is equal to 4 times x. That's going to be B. And 12 minus 4 is equal to x. This will be A, because starting off with 12 and then subtracting off this 4 will leave me with x. And then finally, x plus x plus x plus x is equal to 12. So this is going to be B, because if I add x 1, 2, 3, 4 times, I'll get B. So as you can see, if you're looking at two different models, there's a multitude of different ways that you can express these, and most of them have to do with the fact families that we learned earlier on in grade school. And it just takes a little bit of practice in getting used to these so that we can learn how to manipulate them in the future. All right, I'm going to give you one more thing to try, and then we'll be done with this video. So I want you to, let's move this up and out of the way. I would like you to take these two equations, and I just want you to try to make a model, just to see if you understand. Where are we at here? 8. Oh, I've got all sorts of stuff going on here. I just want this. So let's see here. If I have 18 is equal to 3 plus x, or if I have 18 is equal to 3 times y. I want you to tell me, what will those models look like? Go ahead and pause the video and do that now. All right, so what you should have ended up with is something that looks like this. Let's do the models in green. Okay, so this says that I have 3, and to it I'm going to add x. So I should just have something that looks like this. It doesn't have to be precise. 3, and I'm going to add to it x, and that the total when I'm done is going to be 18. All right, so that's what this model. A couple of things. It's not a big deal if you put the x over here instead of my 3, or the 3 over here instead of my x. The important part is that you're adding 3 to x, and that you have that it totals 18. And then over here, I've got 18 is equal to 3 times y. So this means that I have y 3 equal times. So this is going to be a total of 18. So y plus y plus y, or 3 times y, is equal to 18. So this is the basic idea behind it all. That should be enough to help you answer your homework, which is posted onto Google Classroom. I hope this video helped.